Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and to part 3 of the pre-MOT and winter preparation on my 110. This is the reason right here why all this work had to go ahead. As you can see, the front of the chassis legs, those front dumb irons, have seen better days. This is the reason why I've had to finally bite the bullet and learn how to weld, because they look absolutely disgusting. Here I am starting the work and cutting all of the patches and repair sections for the vehicle. I went round the whole vehicle and made cardboard templates for each patch I was making. I'm now cutting out the templates into some sheet metal, just using a vise to help me out as well. I actually don't own a vise. I had to go to a family member's house, they've got one in their garden. So I actually scored along and used a vise like this and a hammer to get the bends, like that 90-degree bend there. It would have been nice to have a brake and things like that, but as you can see I don't have nice equipment like that, so I'm doing the best with what I have. The piece that I'm making here is just for the bottom of the C-pillar. I'm just putting the other bend in there where it meets the C-pillar, C-section sill. So there we go, I'm just refining it out now. Again, this would be easier with a metal bender, metal brake, but I'm just using what I have. I did 2 of those. Both of the bottom of the C-pillars were rotten, so they should do. And this is just 2mm steel I've made them out of. I was actually really happy with how these turned out. So there's just an example, then trace around that on the metal and then cut it out with the grinder. That was for underneath a roll bar at the back of the chassis. So these are the end results. Here's the patch for the bottom of the C-pillar. And that's the cardboard template that I made. Here's another example of a patch and a plate I've cut to suit, so these are all ready to be cleaned up and welded into place. Here's a few of my finished patches. Here's the one for the bottom of the C-pillar again, and a few other random shapes. Like I said, there's 2 of those. I did use 2mm steel because that's what the chassis thickness is, and just easier to weld. This is the bracing I did. Now, it's not the prettiest job, as you can see in there. I couldn't really get that corrosion out because, again, I don't have a sandblaster, so these welds are not the best. But I am doing just what I can to try and re-strengthen these up. Here I am just tacking the panel into place. I tried to clean up the rail as best I can, but to get good conductivity, a good weld there. I know it would be more sensible to just replace these, but I didn't really want to go to that expense. I just want to patch up this chassis to be strong enough to last for around 2 more years till at least, you know, the Series 3 is out of the way. I'll then be going for a galv chassis on the 110 as well, so this is just like a make do amend sort of thing. Now, I know welding's one of those things where it's so easily critiqued, but please do bear in mind this is my first time actually welding a chassis, and I don't claim to be a welder or anything like that. This is just my first go ever welding a chassis, and again, I'm not a professional at all, I'm self-taught. I started with stick, and then I did some practice with MIG. And again, I don't claim my welds to be good or anything like that. I'm literally just learning here. I know the weld inside there is absolutely horrible, but I was trying to MIG to thin, rusty, horrible metal. I just wanted a make do amends just to keep the chassis strong. Again, I couldn't get in there to clean very well, so these welds are by far not the best, and I fully admit that, but again, I am just learning, I'm just having a go and just using the facilities that I have. As you can see, the welds on the outside are a bit more clean, but again, I'm not claiming these to be good at all, this is just my attempt at it. As soon as I did do the welding, I primed them with the Corollas S primer. Again, I'll leave a link in the description if you want this primer, just to stop any corrosion happening straight away, and it just kind of nips it in the bud then. Now I'm just re-drilling out the holes to put the crush tubes in to support the bumper. I use cutting oil and an angled drill bit. Now I know this isn't how it was done from the factory or anything like that, but this is good enough for me. This is just a metal tube that I'm going to tack and weld into place, just for the crush tubes that hold the bumper on, because the bolts go through there. So I just pop them in and cut them off to suit like this. So you can see a few tacks on there before I got an assistant to film me. So I'm just going around being very careful to not burn through, as these tubes were somewhat thin metal. I think they were only around like maybe 1.2 mil. They were just what were in my auto parts store, my local one. So I just gradually filled around these with weld. Again, these don't have to be too perfect, it's just to stop the chassis from collapsing in on itself when you tighten up those bolts to clamp the bumper on. So again, not the neatest welds there, but I am only learning. So I just have to apologise for the haphazard nature of these clips. Again, please bear in mind these are taken at different times of day, on different days, because I am a bit of a weekend warrior and an evening warrior. Those are the only times that I get to work on these cars, so they are in the dark and sometimes they are in different locations, so I just have to apologise for that. So I'm just grinding those back to make them flush, because they do need to be flush because the bumper needs to slide over these. The weld did overspill a little bit over the top of those tubes, so I just drilled the excess weld off there and just made sure the bolts went through easy and that I could get proper alignment of the bumper. Whilst doing this, I did test fit the bumper just to make sure it did still fit in line. So there are the new crush tubes installed there. I know the welding inside isn't brilliant, again I am just only learning, and I just feel I have to put disclaimers in there because I'm definitely nowhere near a professional at all, and I don't claim to be a welder. I was just really struggling for space to weld inside there, and I just tried to do the best job that I could possibly do. So here's the damage of why I had to make the repair section, and this is how it fits. So I'm going to cut out all that corrosion and weld this repair panel in flush. You can see how it fits, and I did have to adjust these a little bit to make them fit properly. So as you can see, it doesn't fit properly there, but that's because it's designed to go where the repair section will be cut out, where the old bit of the corroded C-pillar is currently. So once that's cut out, it'll all fit in flush. And once I did cut that away, it fit perfectly as per my measurements. Yeah, you can see how it's quite hollow there and rotted straight through, where it's pulled water in the bottom there, and unfortunately hasn't drained away. I do care about how this is going to look, but I care more about the strength it's going to hold afterwards. That's what I more care about, the actual structural side of it. So it might not be the prettiest thing in the world, but I just want it to be strong. That other piece is for the side here. I actually made that out of 3mm thick steel to accommodate for the seal going on it. As you can see, it has to have a certain lip there for the seal to sit on it properly. So instead of doing what Land Rover did, welding and forming two thin pieces of metal together, I just made it out of a single piece of 3mm thick steel, and that's how that piece fits there. I've bent that piece on the bottom there just to give myself some alignment, and again that is designed to be the same thickness there, that 3mm, as it was before, for the seal to fit properly. And this is how I'm clamping things into place. I'm just using a straight edge to make sure I get the correct alignment there. That gap there is a little bit too big, but I managed to fill it with weld just fine. There's my two tacks and my straight edge again, just making sure I've got everything in line and straight. You can see a bit more clearly how I've cut the panel away there. The two tacks there are holding it in position for me. And again, I know those gaps are a little bit too big, but I did fill them with weld just fine, so that wasn't a problem or a headache at all. And I should have really taken the sill off. This was extra challenging welding in these patches because of all the different metal thicknesses going on in the surrounding areas, such as the original body of the C-pillar I believe was only about 1.5mm. So what I've actually done, because this metal is a little bit thinner on these C-pillars, I just tried to stitch it together there. As you can see, I'm just letting the heat dissipate. So for the equipment that I'm using Argo Shield Gas, and I've been using my brand new Parweld welder. I have been using this to learn with as well, and let me just tell you, it's absolutely perfect for me learning. It's the XTM 201DI. It has this digital interface. All that means is it's just so easy to dial in all of your settings, especially for MIG. I don't know if you can see there, but it actually gives you a little green band. This is like its preset parameters, where the machine thinks you'll get a good weld. Here I am on the selection screen. Select MIG, select what type of metal I'm using, and I'm using steel. It tells me how to set it up. I go on to the type of gas I'm using. I'm using a mixed gas. The wire diameter, I'm using 0.8 wire. How I want the trigger to work, and the thickness of the steel that I'll be welding. You can dial that up or down, and then it'll give me these preset parameters here. It's got my wire speed, my voltage. You can just kind of tailor it for your application, and as long as you stay in between on that green band, you should get a good weld. This is the other side now, and there's the welds that I got. Again, when I do a proper rebuild of this Land Rover, I will be replacing all of these for galvanised parts, but I didn't really want to go to that trouble right now. And plus, I did fancy just having a go at welding really, and just learning what I can with what I've got currently. I thought this were the perfect learning experience, to be honest. Again, I have to say it because probably a few people are going to be shouting at the screen right now. I am not a welder, I'm not a qualified welder at all, I am just learning. So these are the sorts of welds that I've been getting when it's just a little bit more easy for me. I am only grinding the welds back to if I have to. Here I am just attacking the other side of that C-pillar. I'm just trying to cut off that lip, and that's what I did for the other side as well. So I'm just trying to cut that off where I assume it was spot welded at the factory. Just tacking the next patch into place. Again, with panels like these, it were really important for me to get the panels correct and in place. So I did the same thing with that straight edge to make sure that it all sat flush and that it were all very straight and in line. You can probably see I got better welds on cleaner metal, but it didn't go as well when I was trying to weld to rusty metal, but I did try and save as much of the original panel as possible. I tried to really salvage the pillar there to keep all the alignments. There's just another patch on the sill. This was probably the most trickiest bit of the welding that I had to do, to be honest, other than welding the new anti-roll bar hanger on, because all the alignments had to be correct for the door to align and the seal to attach properly. So this is something that I did have to keep checking whilst I was welding to make sure that it was all sitting flush and that everything aligned up properly and was all at that straight edge and everything. But I am quite happy with how this turned out, to be honest. Here's the hole I originally found. I actually found the remains of a reinforcement bracket inside, and because I want it to be as strong as possible, I did actually replace this and pop a new bracket in there. I did find it worth it to go to the extra effort to put that reinforcement bracket in. But there's my other patch tacked into place. I don't know if you can see, but I've rounded the bottom off there so it fits with the chassis. So it continues following the contours of the chassis. Again, I've just stitched it together there. I stopped just to let the metal cool there, as you can probably see, and I did it at opposite edges to try and dissipate the heat, because the last thing I wanted was to blow through whilst getting good penetration. Again, I am quite happy with how that turned out, to be honest. There's the reinforcement bracket there. I'm just going to weld it to the other side now. As you can see, I think those welds penetrated quite well there. And of course, here's Laddie, and what does he think? Does he approve, do we think? No, it don't really look like it. I just sprayed inside there with some zinc spray whilst I still had the opportunity to do so. I will be filling the box section with wax. As you can see, the welds aren't too good on that bracket just there, but it was quite hard to get the angle grinder in there to clean that metal. I just sprayed some red oxide primer in there as well whilst I had the opportunity. Just using my magnet there, and it has picked up quite a lot of rubbish. It's looking a little bit disgusting. I welded it at one side and then bent it over to the other. again to follow the contours of the chassis. Once that was welded into place, it was the time to do my first ever overhead welding there. Again, going back to my Power Weld welder, this is what it does while I'm welding. Again, I've just put in all my settings of what I want and it's created its own parameters. The hardest thing when you're learning how to weld is getting all your settings correct. And this welder just makes it a complete dream and so much easier. If you are a bit apprehensive about welding like I was when I was learning, I would highly recommend you getting one of these welders because it is just so simple and so easy, and I'm just over the moon with it, to be honest. I couldn't recommend it more. I will leave a link in the description to my welder and to the Power Weld website, welding on the anti-roll bar bracket. And this is the result. And I am quite happy with it, to be honest. I did ensure that it was strong. I hit it with a hammer and tried to give it a little bit of abuse to make sure it were definitely all tacked in and welded up. You can see where I've kind of ground the welds back a little bit, but I did try and make it a bit of a seamless repair. So after that, I just went over any bits that were missed whilst welding. I just went over with the Corolla S primer and then the RF16 glass reinforced top coat in gloss black. If you want to see a little bit more in depth about painting, you can watch part 2 of either my Series 3 rebuilding where I completely paint a new galvanised chassis, or you can go and watch part 2 of the Pre-MOT winter prep for Gareth the 110. It's completely up to you, but those two are based all around painting, all around Corollas, and just outline everything that I used with links and everything. But again, I'll pop links below in case you are interested and didn't get to see the other videos. But that is where I'm going to leave it today. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon in part 4.